Alright, so we are back into another Dragon Ball Super card game video. On this one, finally, I finished out the Mass Saiyan deck profile. On this one, it's good. It's good to be back and playing Mass Saiyan, I'm telling you. And this one is a blue or black and red sort of aggro, kind of glass cannon, but not really. There's some tech choices here and there as far as what to do, and even a kind of a mock sideboard that's not exactly finished. But I do want to say that I will be going over the newly released cards from the set 7 that I didn't touch on or didn't make a video on. So I'll just do that at the end for those who want to take a look at that and talk about that. But if you have been playing Mass Saiyan, if this is different, if you have your own sort of version that isn't this, which is black and red, maybe you're playing black and yellow. Shout out to Eric for playing that. I forget which regional it was, but he kind of gave a lot of attention to Mass Saiyan for the black and yellow version. And if anything, I do want to thank him for a little bit of insight, because I did change and rearrange some stuff. So if you didn't know, this is Mass Saiyan, and he did get some support here and there. And again, let me know your options, subscribe, all that other stuff. But for this guy, if you didn't know already, he is a starter deck leader. He came out the starter deck a while back, I think set 3, set 4, around that time. And he has an activate main. He places the 3 cards from top of your deck into the drop. You mill 3, basically. Gains crit for black cards, and then any non-black cards gain 5k, which is kind of still nice. Like, even if you don't, you still are okay. This deck in itself can use a little bit more as far as red. I think if you take out a few tech choices, it would be fine. So far so good as far as getting every single color, or at least getting red and as well as black into the drop for the activate main. Both sides are the same. He does the same thing on both sides. It's still really good, and it's a 15 critical if you get both, 20 critical if you get on the backside, and then of course draw 1. He is a draw 2 leader. But so here's why he is good as far as the first card, going from left to right, or at least up and down. This one is a crack in space-time. We do only play 3, but it does say if your leader card is black, a black Saiyan that is, which means this one and as well as Kid Goku can play it. It gains 15k power and double strike. So on the front side, at a minimum, if you get both at 15k critical, and then you add double strike and 15k to it, you're looking at 30,000 critical on turn 1 if you really wanted to. And that is something I do pretty much every single turn. If you're going first, it's not bad either. You charge a red, you put a Kaba or a Trunks out, and then turn 2, if you have one of these in your hand, and as well as a Champa in your hand, there is 25,000 double strike critical from a Trunks or a Kaba. I mean, it's just 15 double strike, still not bad. And then 30,000 double strike critical coming from the leader. And I think this makes it so much more good, if that's a phrase. And this is simply because later into the game, you can use this to defend as far as the activate battle to gain 15k on their turn, as well as just going for 35,000 critical on your end, as well as a super combo, these 5Ks, etc., etc. So I think it just makes it so much better, and a lot more pressure where it needs to be. But enough of that. We do have Kami, because you're an aggro deck. You're gonna need to board clear one way or another. I have used Kami quite a lot as far as different matchups, especially Kid Goku. Kid Goku is probably the only thing, or only deck I would say, that I had issues with. I played a lot of different casual decks in the last week and a half. A lot of different competitive decks, from Broly to Janemba, which is pretty difficult, but again, this one does help a lot. You just have to be careful as far as drawing and milling yourself out. I played yellow Brolys before. I played a lot of different off-meta decks like Vegito, Universe 7 Vegeta, even some of the new stuff like Zamasu and Goku Black. Some of that stuff is, I think Goku Black is actually very difficult, but that's not fair, because they're using the set 7 Goku Black. But neither here nor there. Kami has been super helpful in board clearing and making sure that you can continue your plays the next turn. And then Power Burst gets him back. We only play 3, don't really need to play 4. 2 is not enough to see it, because you're most likely going to mill 1 out. So seeing 1 in order to use a Sparking to awaken, or just to get a Kami or one of these new cards. Now, this is Time Disruptor, and I included this into this deck to add an element of control and as well as a little bit of defense. And it says here, when you play this card, battle cards with energy cost of 2 or less can't attack until the start of the opponent's next turn. And when you play it, you draw 1. So this is counterproductive to the Kaba and the Trunks, and you have to realize that it's on both turns. But the Kaba and Trunks are the only cards in which this is affected by. The leader is not affected. Any of your overwhelm is not affected. The Digging Deep Vegeta, Bodyguard Legic, Gohan, the other Gohan, all not affected. Even the TN is not affected. So when you do play this card and you do draw 1, make sure you don't have any of these guys in your hand or that you're awakened already. And yes, it is a little bit difficult to awaken early and then not use these guys, but I will say that this has become really useful in stopping a lot of different plays as soon as to stop like a 1-drop awaken, a 2-drop attacker in Pan or Goku, etc. So I think this is very good for what it is. You just have to be very careful because it's on both turns. And of course we have the World's Protector. We play the warp one because you're going to be warping quite a lot as far as overwhelm. And then now we have a tech choice as far as Dark Rejuvenator Toa. This one says is the overwhelm 3, not dark overwhelm, but just paying 1. Then you choose one of your battle cards and you cost it 2 or less, and that switch to active mode. Of course, these are the targets for it. So the play is usually playing out a Trunks the first turn, going turn 1, and then turn 2 you play another one or a Kaba, and now you have 1 open energy. If you don't have a Crack Space Time, you do have this in your hand, then you can go ahead and swing twice, take 2 cards from life, and that you're that close to awakening. You can mill 3 to get a 15 critical there, and then you restain it with Toa right after that, and now that's 3 cards out of your life, and that much closer to awakening. And now you get to restand one of these, so you have a choice of 25,000 critical or 25,000 double strike from Kaba or Trunks, because it's for the turn, not for that battle. So I mean, it's very good in that situation. I do have Toa in the side, and as well as the answer cards for Konoha and as well as No Escape Goku. We'll get to that in a little bit, but this is probably the direct replacement depending on the matchup that you have. So far so good as far as aggression, early game aggression. Just having again 25 to 15k critical double striker twice. It's very good turn 2, and it just creates a lot of pressure for slower decks. Then we have a revived Ravager Vegeta. This creates something for every single turn. I was close to playing this at 4, but I would have a lot more black than I would want. This is kind of pushing it as it is, but this one is pretty good, as in you have a 15k critical of overwhelm 3, which is almost guaranteed with the leader effect for every single time that you have in your hand, and then you place up to 3 cards in the top of your deck into your drop area, so you can get to mill up to 3 again to set up for a Scientist Fu right here. So the Scientist Fu, of course, draws 2, and the overwhelm 7 for 1 energy, which is incredibly good because the turn one play, you overwhelm 3 or mill 3, and you swing Cracking Space Time. That's fine. Next turn, you mill 3, you have a Scientist Fu in your hand, you pay 1, draw 2, and now you have a critical 15k and then a 25,000 double striker on the board. And then Revived Ravager helps you in doing that for the next turn and setting that up. So if you overwhelm or mill 3, overwhelm this guy, and either you have a further instruction Champa and swing with this guy, or you can swing with this guy and then Cracking Space Time. Now you have 4. The next turn you mill 3 and then go into the Scientist Fu. So shout out to Eric as far as that one goes. He did remind me as far as that combo. So you might also think, where's the Time Patrol Trunks, as well as the Kai that looks at the top 3 and gets his battle card. So those 2 are very good. I think when I use the Kai, I always saw a Cracking Space Time. When I used the Time Patrol Trunks, I never saw anything useful. So what I was thinking was just that this is overrun 4. He's a 20k body. He can still be used with Champa because he's a 30k double strike at that turn or that time. And now he gets to cycle through your deck by drawing 2 cards and choosing 1 into the drop area. So that creates even more options as far as overrun for the next turn, and as well as just cycling through your deck. You're gonna mill out pretty soon when you're at 15k or 15 cards or less. You kind of want to be a little careful with that, but so far so good as far as this card, because it is free. He is a 20k body, and I think he's gonna see a lot of play in a lot of black decks, I think. And then Mass Saiyan for removal, pretty cool. 5 or less, send into warp, pay 1. Scientist Fu, couldn't already explained. Kaba and Trunks, couldn't already explained. The biggest issue for Smash Saiyan is that he doesn't really awaken too early, and he doesn't really draw advantage. But you kind of trade that off with a lot of regression and a lot of different options that you can have in an overrun package. So you don't even need to play some of this stuff. What you do need to play is some awakening stuff, cracking space time, power burst, etc. In order to have that core. But I chose this because you have a lot of options. And then we have the Champa, self-explanatory for everything. Everything can get the Champa. Bodyguard Legend has been pretty good, very old card, but at this point it's still good in this aspect because you're not really ever going to have cards on the board. If you do, they're going to be in rest mode like these guys, and then they're going to try to kill it. If they kill it, then you have no board. They're going to play a battle card. You're going to play the Bodyguard Legend. He's an additional attacker for free for 15k, and he has become very, very useful. At first, I didn't have Burst Attack Gohan in the deck, but I have found myself and the main reason for that is because I didn't want to charge 2 red. I wanted to keep the red to like a scarce sort of thing. But early on into the game, when I'm not going to be spending too many cards, I usually charge this guy early on. But in the times in which I'm going to be using cards to defend, or they're using hand destruction, or whatever it may be, this guy's really good. He's a 15k critical, draws 2 cards of 4 or less, which a lot of people like to starve Mass Saiyan, so this is going to be a very, very good option to get out. And then we have Digging Deep Vegeta to get around the Crisis Crusher, and as well as just another option for Awakening. Power Burst, Kaba, Trunks, and Digging Deep are all options, and he has been pretty useful as far as that goes, especially late game. Like if you have 3 life and you try to go for game, the extra 2 cards and extra 2 attacks from this guy is going to be very, very useful. The only thing is going to be Flying Nimbus, but hey, you're just going to work around that. And then Miraculous Comeback Gohan has 3 or less cards in your hand. Again, synergy with the Burst Attack Gohan. Reduce this card in your hand and battle area by 4. So he has a 2-drop on the board. So make sure to draw before you go into a or play into a Shocking Death Ball, because it is on the battle area. So there you go. And when it does KO a battle card, you get to inflict 2 damage. So that's always nice, right? And he's a double striker, 25,000 for 2. So there you go. That's pretty much the deck. That is pretty much the curve that you want to understand. As far as the sideboard, again, this is kind of a thrown around sideboard. Cronoa for Jikesh plays is still very, very prevalent, especially with Power Burst having that synergy. No Escape Goku with all of the Scuffle Time, as well as the new Path to Infinite Goku that you can't return cards to your hand by paying that 1 blue. And that kind of stops a lot of different strategies. So I think this is a really good sideboard card going into the next sets and as well as the next meta. Please watch out for that. And then Time Ruler Toba. So this one, it says you can always play 3 to directly swap out, but I really wanted the 3 TN. This one says you choose one of their battle cards with 2 or less and control it. This is directly for the Kid Goku. This is so they have to remove the Kid Goku on their own, because you're never going to combo it, and then make sure that it doesn't go into the drop or warp, so that way they can use Power Burst in order to just get it back into their hand. So that kind of prevents a lot of different things, and you might see this pop up more often. I think I've seen it in a few other deck profiles too. And the roughest matchups, Janemba, or one of the roughest matchups is Janemba, and that's simply because you're milling out yourself to be effective. And if you let them mill you and then use your Overwhelm, and as well as keep these in hand, and as well as side in TN, then you should be good. I think TN is a good sideboard card right into Bardock, so that way you don't cycle through faster with them. Just overall pretty good. I think Green Broly is not too bad with this deck, because you're literally going to double strike them until they cry. But I think Bardock Fully Unleashed is also a good option, because it's free. It warps all of their Brolys, and all you really need to do is just hold your Power Burst or just take it. So that way you awaken early, and then you just double strike critical until they cry again. And then Planet M2, another Kid Goku option. I just really don't like that matchup. And then Foreseeing Hit for Janemba and any other matchup that you think is going to be slow and they need pieces like Goku Black, Zamasu, etc. He's really a turn 5 play, because you want 1 open energy, so that way you can have a Kraken Space Time or another option to overwhelm. But it's just another option. Let me know what you think about the sideboard and what it should be changed. that is it for the deck. Again, I'm gonna try. I didn't do it this week. Just been a little bit busy. But if you guys want to see gameplay, let me know. I'm always on Untap every so often. If you ever do see me with an open game and you join in, just let me know what deck to play and I'll play it. But otherwise, I'll try to get some gameplay in the coming weeks. Well, let me know what you think as far as that goes. But before we wrap it up, this is going to be pretty quick. If you didn't see the strategy series in the announcements for Set 7, they did reveal a few new cards. So the new Goten and Gohan leader brotherly bonds. So cool. Absolutely awesome art. I can't wait to see the front side. He is a sparking 5 leader in which you draw 1 card, so I would imagine the other side is a burst. And then once per turn, whenever your battle cards activates Alliance, which is nice, you get to KO one of their cards with 30k power or less and KO it. So I mean that's a huge range, honestly. So that's gonna be nice. And then choose 3 cards in your hand and place in the drop area. Choose all your red and green battle cards, and then the chosen cards get and this card gain 10k power for the rest of the turn. They made a good point as far as Kaba and as well as Trunks. Since their duration for the turn, they even use the alternative art, so that's nice. They're effectively 25,000 as soon as they swing and you take a life, so that's nice, like I said. But this is probably going to be best for a triple flash build, like red-green triple flash would be interesting. I will tackle that when it comes. And then we have the Broly Rampage Barrage, a lot of text, but it really just says arrival red and green, you pay 1. They can only be played if a dormant legend is in your drop area. I don't know what that is, so we'll see what that means. And then you choose one of their battle cards when you play it. It gains negative 10k for the duration of the turn. And then when you put a combos, you choose 1 card from your hand, or you can. And then if you do, you choose 1 card from the combo area and place it in the drop. You can't do it for the rest of the turn. It's like a Jacko, but not. This one is a Broly recurring nightmare, so we don't know the front side, we do know this back side. Absolutely awesome looking, but at the same time kind of underwhelming. It's a red leader. When it attacks, it draws 1, which is nice because Toa doesn't, so there you go. And then you choose 1 card from your hand and then place it in the drop area. You choose one of their battle cards and with 10k power or less and KO it. I don't know why this is choose 1, because the Black Broly is a lot better because you just KO it unconditionally, but oh well. And who says veggies are dead? This one's a 1 cost blue kale. This one can't be KO'd. This one can't be KO'd, so it's blue yellow veggies. When you play this card, you choose 1 or blue yellow Universe 6 card in the drop area with energy cost of 3 or more and add it to your hand. So obviously we haven't seen the 3 or more ones for the Universe 6, but we will see those soon. And then this one is a top 5 from your deck, and choose 1 blue or yellow Universe 6 among them and shuffle. So more targets for the 2-drop combo. I don't know if you're going to be playing those, but we will see. I would imagine 3 or less. There's going to be the Kale and as well as Khalifa SRs maybe. Who knows? And then they reference the Kaba, the Revoker, because he is a Universe 6. It's basically the Kobo less for Kabas. Interesting interaction, which I will release in a future rulings video, in which that if you Kobo less this card, the auto is still pending before that because of the timing issues, or the timing for it, and this one still goes through and it negates their skills. But this one is a time skip hit. Wow, say that 5 times fast. You draw 1 and when it attacks, and then when your opponent's leader card flips to the front, choose 1 of their blue, or choose up to 1 or blue yellow Universe 6 cards in your drop area and what the energy cost for 3 or less and play it. So a lot of people were thinking wish leaders. So wish leaders are automatically going to be doing this, but they have to use their ultimate. What I think is that there's going to be a yellow specific card for the hit leader. If it's like a yellow hit or something like that, it's going to say play this card. And for the duration of the turn, your leader, your opponent's leader is flipped onto its back until the end of, or the start of their turn or the end of your turn. One of those, I don't know. But it's going to be interesting, and I think that's going to be what's going to happen here. It's very also possible that there's going to be a counter, because the counter window is more appropriate than an extra card activate main for a hit, in my opinion. Just like Time Kicker. And then activate main, choose 1 card from your hand and place in the drop area, choose 1 up to 1 blue or yellow Universe 6 card in your hand. Energy cost of 2 or less to play it. So obviously it's going to be these guys here, and it's going to be very, very cool because we're going to have a lot more. They talk about pre-releases coming in July probably, yeah, July 26th, and then special rarities with the sign cards. So let me know what you think about the deck, and as well as all of these new cards coming out in the comments below. Subscribe if you are new, like, dislike, all that other stuff. I thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Later.